I am going to be chatting through 10 autistic symptoms that are more common in adulthood. A few little pointers right off the bat. I have used symptoms in the title. I don't like this word. It is just because that is what people are searching for. So really quickly, just going to tell you why we don't like symptoms. When we hear the word symptoms, we think illness. Autism isn't an illness. It is a developmental disorder, but we don't want to be likened to being ill. The symptoms are also lifelong, so they're not going to disappear. The most common word that I think people prefer are traits. I'm going to use traits just because that's what I like. But there are a multitude of words that people like more. But I would just say best off, don't use the word symptoms. Quickly, just before we get started as well, autism is a spectrum disorder. So if you don't experience any of this, that's fine. You can still be autistic and you might experience these things on varying degrees. This video isn't going to be like, this is how you can tell if you're autistic or not. These are just 10 autistic traits that some of us experience. I experience all of these because I am autistic and that is why I am talking about them. But please don't panic if you do not experience these, or the person that you are watching this video for if they don't experience them. And last little thing, this is a video specific to adulthood, but people who aren't classed as adults might experience this as well. So if you know children, or if you are under the age of 18 and you also experience this, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with you. They just are a little bit more specific to being an adult. Anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? First one is getting frustrated by being told stuff you already know. I feel like this is a bit more specific to being an adult because you have that knowledge base already. There are quite a lot of things that you already know. This would be seen as one of the social communication deficits. I personally get angry when people tell me things I already know. It drives me up the wall. I get very, very frustrated by this, and it's not their fault. One, it could be that they don't know that I already know, or it could just be that they've forgotten that they've already told me. This can be like stories from people, or it could be just facts. If I already know it, I don't want it ever to be brought up again. I'm happy to have a discussion around it, but if someone tells me it as if they're telling me it for the first time and I already know it, I am just like, okay, I already know that. Why are you telling me? Even though it is a very normal thing for people to tell people stuff. Second one, and this is a big one that I experienced, and that is being mistaken for flirting. I've had this at all ages. I have always been mistaken for flirting. I think a lot of autistic people experience this. I still don't quite understand it because it still happens to me now. I still get accused of flirting when I'm not. But I think it stems from we are being nice in the way that we see other people being nice. And for other people, being nice is flirting, especially if it's a stereotypical interaction with the opposite gender, which is problematic within itself, but we'll leave that alone. But I think if you are seen as being overly nice to people, people just see that as flirting. I don't understand it. You're talking to an autistic person, so I'm not the one to explain it. But this can be a common thing. I think it is a common thing for all genders, but I think women in particularly, we get seen as flirting more than we actually are. When in reality, I'm just trying to be nice. And I'm normally masking a little bit, so I am being nice in the way that that person wants me to be nice. So I don't know if people see that shift in personality as the flirting behaviour, when in reality I'm trying to be nice for that person. Next one is related, and that is gender and sexuality being confusing. I'm just going to speak on my personal experience with this because I think it is a whole conversation. It is a massive conversation, but it is very, very common, I have found, within autistic people that we don't see gender and sexuality the same way as everybody else. For me personally, I just don't get it. I classify myself as pansexual because I don't understand how people can't be attracted to anyone. I'm not saying I'm attracted to everyone, but I don't understand how someone can look at someone and be like, you are not this particular gender, so I don't find you attractive. That's confusing to me. I don't get it. And I also have a similar thing with gender. I don't really understand it. I respect people's gender identities, and if you tell me what you are, I will believe you. I am probably one of the best people because I don't understand any, so tell me what you are. That's what you are to me. But I don't really see people's gender. I know being like gender blind is probably a whole thing within itself, but I don't get it. And from other autistic people that I've talked to, it's a very common experience. So a lot of us are classed as pansexual, or a lot of people who are autistic explore their gender identity in whatever way they want to, and that's great. I think that because I don't understand gender, I think that's what everyone should do. I think it should just be who you are, and as long as you're not hurting anyone, then it doesn't matter. But not seeing gender and sexuality as what everybody else seems to be a common shared experience within us. With that one, I do want to say it's a little bit more complicated in terms of you experiencing that trait, because I think as a society, there is a lot of cultural and societal norms that you are brought up with, which might mean that inside you have different thoughts to what you actually project. There is things as being closeted and compulsive heterosexuality. And just because we're autistic doesn't mean that we're not going to do that. I think a form of masking is doing compulsive heterosexuality. So there's many different layers to that, but if you hear conversations around gender and sexuality and you just don't get it, that might be an autistic thing. Number 4, not enjoying working with other people. I like being around other people. I am an extrovert. Extroverted autistic people do exist. I am one. I enjoy being around other people, but if I have to do work and depend on other people, not a fan. I would rather just take the work and do it myself. And I know that's a common experience out of autism as well, but this is to the point where I just would rather not do the work. I don't feel comfortable depending on anyone at any kind of level. It makes me physically uncomfortable, and if I can get out of that, I will. Number 5, setting high expectations for yourself and other people. I think, and again, this is coming from my experience with it, I think it's because we see that people can do the potential, so we are like, that can be done, so it will be done. That's the same with myself and other people. Take university, for example, because I did go to university. I know it's possible to get a first in your degree, so that's what I should have done. I did not do that. I got a 2-1. For an autistic and ADHD person, I am very proud of that. But when I was in university, I was like, I know, because there is a possibility for me to finish with a first, so I will finish with a first. And it took a lot of conversations with my supervisor talking about how that wasn't exactly realistic for me, in a very, very nice way. And it came from other discussions. He was very, very good about it. And I'm very, very, very grateful for those conversations, because it prepared me for the 2-1. But I think it's the fact that we know it can be done, so it should be done like that. And the same with other people. I know that people can be excellent around birthdays and be so loving and throw all of this affection for the birthday. So that's what I expect. And then when it doesn't get done, I just feel very let down, because I'm like, no, I know that could have been done. Why wasn't it? And that can be across every different category of life: uni, work, social events, hygiene, like everything. You can have those high expectations without being particularly aware of everything else that goes into those things that you're expecting. Number 6 is trying to solve other people's problems rather than listen. I'm guilty of this. If somebody says that if someone is talking to me about an issue that they have, I will go into problem solving mode and be like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? We should do this together. I'll do this to help you. Sometimes people don't want that, and I've learned that now. I still can't really understand when people do and don't want problems. I've just defaulted to asking. But if your automatic reaction every single time is to problem solve, that can be part of the autism, because we are very logical people and detail-oriented people. We want to solve logical problems, when sometimes it's just about emotional needs and someone is just asking to vent, and we have to figure out when that time is, which is confusing, but it's just part of us. Number 7, and that is feeling stuck if you have plans later in the day. If I wake up on Saturday and I know I have plans at 3, nothing is getting done until I have to leave at 3 or 2:30, whatever. I cannot initiate another task before that. I can do things, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it will just be me sitting on the settee thinking about what I have to do until I have to do it. So if I have, if I'm going out for a meal at 1 o'clock, I will wake up at 9 o'clock and think about how I have to get ready for that meal until I have to get ready. I can't do anything else. I'm worried that things are going to overlap. I'm worried that I'm going to be unprepared. I'm worried I'm going to be late. It's a very common thing to get stuck because there is something happening later on. I also have this, it was an example that happened to me last week, is we had a boiler person over to do a service on our boiler. When they were here, could not do anything. I was stuck because I knew at some point they were going to come down and want to talk to me. When they knocked on the door, I forgot they were coming. I had my lunch in my hand. I couldn't eat my lunch because all I could think about is what if I'm mid-bite once they come and want to talk to me. I don't want to be mid-bite. So I just sat and waited. Could not do anything else. Couldn't watch the TV. I literally just had to wait until they came and talked to me, even though that was about an hour. I just got stuck. Number 8. Extremely strong moral compasses. I'm sure you've heard about this before if you've watched other autism videos, but we can have an extremely strong moral compass, and it is something that I very much struggle with. And all that means is we want things to be fair and just, and we struggle if they are not. And it can cause problems because we can't really let things go, or at least I can't let things go. I really struggle getting on with anybody that I know don't hold the same ethics as me. It can also be a struggle in workplaces if you see somebody is being treated the way that they shouldn't be, or if they are breaking the rules and not being documented as breaking the rules. It can be challenging because we desperately want there to be justice within that. And again, that can go across all manners of your life. It does for me. Within university, I had it. Within work, I've had it. Within school, within relationships, friendships, out on the street. If I see something that I see as unjust, I get so angry to the point I'm having to learn how to temper that anger for situations like that. It's still not solved. Don't ask me how, because I don't know. I'm still attempting it. I get pretty bad road rage, not to the point where I do anything about it, but I get angry in the car because I can see people are breaking road rules. Because it's not fair. Because if everybody just followed the road rules, we'd not have issues on the road. But people do, and that makes me very, very angry. Number 9, not having a want to watch or listen to new things. This can be in the form of you just listen to the same music over and over again, and that's completely okay with you. Apparently, other people like to listen to new music and find new music. I didn't even think about doing that until I was a bit older, and I still don't find my own new music because that is not something I want to do. I don't. If I have new songs that I like listening to, it's because I've heard them on TikTok or I've heard them around. If somebody tells me to listen to that, I won't, because I have quite strong PDA, which is pathological demand avoidance, but they've normally came from somewhere where it's kind of been forced on me rather than me actively seeking it out. Same with TV shows. If there is a TV show that everybody's been talking about, I don't care. I don't want to listen. I don't want to watch it. It takes very small circumstances for me to watch a new TV show. I am a rewatcher. I will watch my favourite ones over and over and over again. Number 10, final one, is struggling to know when and how to exit conversations. Social interactions are talked a lot about within autism, obviously because this is a communication disorder, but one part of it that I don't see being talked about too much is struggling with knowing how to leave a conversation and not knowing when to. I feel like I have stayed in so many conversations that I shouldn't have for too long because I was meant to initiate the end of that conversation. I won't. I'll yap forever. Like I say, I'm an extrovert. I'll yap forever. I love talking. But what I've realised is sometimes people are relying on you to end the conversation. I haven't got a clue how to do that. I've been in situations before where I've just stood in the gym and talked with people for about 2 hours because they haven't ended the conversation. I don't know how I'm meant to do that, and I don't know how I'm meant to know when the other person wants to stop talking because people aren't direct. People won't be like, okay, I need to go, because they think that's rude. I don't. I think that's just you telling me that you're done. But other people don't have the same brain as us. I'm getting there, but it does not come naturally. And that was the 10. This list is not exhaustive. There are tens, if not hundreds, of symptoms of autism in adulthood. And like I say, we are on a spectrum, so there are so many different things. There are things that I probably don't struggle with that some people do within their autism. I always like to say with my autism videos, please leave your experiences below, so symptoms that you have in adulthood, to help other people. I like these videos to be like a little bit of a resource centre, so if you have anything that you agree with or don't agree with or have experienced that I've not mentioned, put them down below. The people who are watching this video probably would find it interesting, so definitely leave them below. If you have enjoyed this video or found it useful, I would really appreciate a like on it before you leave. A comment and a subscribe and share also wouldn't go amiss. I am currently trying to grow this YouTube channel and I'm giving it a final month or so to give it a go, so literally any engagement will help YouTube know that people do enjoy my content and they should show my content to other people. So any engagement whatsoever, I would appreciate. But even if you don't do any of those things, thank you so much for watching, and I shall hopefully see you in another video. Bye.